You know that person in your life who just can't stand mayo? Call them traumatized. Call them closed-minded. We get it. They're stuck in their ways. But here's the thing. They just haven't tried Hellmann's flavored mayo. We're talking bold flavors that will flip even the biggest skeptics. Spicy mayo that adds the perfect kick to your burger. Garlic aioli that transforms ordinary fries into something extraordinary. Chipotle mayo that turns your basic wrap into a smoky sensation. So to all the mayo haters out there, yes, we're looking at you. It's time to eat your words. Because with mayo this flavorful, any hater is just a mayo lover waiting to be convinced. Hellmann's flavored mayo. Get ready to eat your words.
Mochi Health is here to help you start your weight loss journey with caring, personalized support. Meet one-on-one with board-certified obesity doctors and registered dietitians who truly listen and understand your unique needs. Eligible patients can access affordable GLP-1 medications delivered right to their door each month. No insurance? No problem. Mochi Health accepts FSA and HSA, making care accessible and affordable. And with 24/7 customer service, you'll never feel alone on your path to better health. Get started with Mochi Health today. Take the free quiz at joinmochi.com and use code AUDIO40 at checkout for $40 off your first month of membership. That's joinmochi.com with promo code AUDIO40.
The amazing Kate Casey.
Welcome back for another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey. I hope that you've been having a great week. There was so much to watch this week, and I hope that you checked out my what to watch list. In particular, there are 2 documentaries that I covered this week, true crime documentaries, and I want to make sure that you guys watch them, and here's why. I find you all to be the most brilliant investigators. You're really on par with the people that work for the CIA and the FBI. In both of these cases, I think we can get some answers if you guys all collectively come together with me. The first is Amy Bradley's case. She disappeared from a cruise ship in 1998. And that documentary is called Amy Bradley is Missing, and it's on Netflix. And in the episode I did, in episode 1353, I spoke with the executive producers. So you can watch that documentary, you can listen to my episode, and then start doing the great work that you do. And the other one is called Her Last Broadcast, and it's about Jody Huisentruit, who disappeared from Mason City, Iowa, also in the 90s, in 1995. Both cases are equally perplexing, and I just need you to watch those documentaries and then listen to my episode also with the executive producer of the Jody documentary, and that's episode 1351. So episodes 1353 and 1351. I'm telling you, if we all get together, we're going to get some, maybe we get the spin-off documentary about how the Reality Life with Kate Casey listeners were able to aid in the investigation, and that also will be a big hit in the Globe. Also, make sure that you listen to my episode I did with the author of the Anna Wintour biography. She's going to be back with me later this month because she has just written a book about Gwyneth Paltrow that is coming out. And that one, I've seen that there's some beginning coverage about it. I think People Magazine has a cover story this week or this coming week, and they're going to talk about what is revealed in that book. So start making sure that you do some circling around the Barnes & Noble in your community or the independent booksellers, and make sure you get that book too. So the Anna Wintour book and the Gwyneth Paltrow book are both written by Amy Odell. And again, she will be back on the show as well. So you can listen to those episodes this week. If you are watching the Bravo shows, you're going to like this because in today's episode, I've got Donna Bowling back with me, and we're talking about some of the recent headlines revolving around some of those Bravo shows, including Denise Richards, Jax from the Valley, and Brock and Scheana from Vanderpump Rules. And then we also talk about this wild story that I know a lot of you have been sending me this morning already about the couple that was at the Coldplay concert, swinging in the wind. And they went up on the Jumbotron, and Chris Martin pointed out that as soon as they saw that they were up on the screen, they kind of dodged being identified. And he said something like, well, it's either you're having an affair or you're shy. Bingo, it was an affair. And someone like within hours figured out who they were, and it's all over the news now. So we talk about that and also our ideas for how we could spin this into a documentary. So a great episode with a great guest. And again, make sure that you are subscribed to that What to Watch list at katecasey.substack.com so you can get a list of those true crime docs this week. And make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast so you can listen to those interviews. Also, make sure that you are subscribed for the bonus episode that I put out each week. You can now get that on Apple Podcast as well as Patreon at patreon.com/KKC. So here's my interview with Donna. Donna, you're back. I have so much stuff to talk to you about what's going on in the Bravo world. Are you ready?
Yeah, it's a crazy day.
Okay, crazy. Well, first, I want to talk about the allegations from Denise Richards. Of course, they're going through a divorce. In court documents that were filed on the 16th, Denise accuses him, Aaron, her ex-husband, soon-to-be ex-husband, of ongoing physical and emotional abuse during their 6 to 7 year marriage, alleges repeated choking, slapping, head trauma resulting in at least 3 concussions, severe bruising, and terrifying threats, including being told that he would kill her or himself if she sought help. And then apparently there is an incident that occurred January 17th where he allegedly struck her in the eye with the heel of his palm, resulting in bruising that lasted weeks, even affecting her professional life. And that was witnessed by a family member, according to news reports. And she has also described a 2-hour confrontation where he screamed degrading insults while standing inches from her face. And also says that he hacked her devices, installed recording devices, and owns at least 8 unregistered firearms, which he allegedly used to threaten her and implied that they were untraceable. And there's a picture that's been released of her with a black eye. What in the world?
Oh my God, if you could see my face, I'm like shaking my head, like freaking out. The details are so intense. In fact, I didn't even read all those details. You just shared those with me for the first time because I just saw the pictures. I haven't had a chance to really read the article. Obviously, it's horrible. Just absolutely horrible. Like there's no excuse. There's nothing you can say other than just absolutely horrible. But I think that you would, if you were watching the show, I'm sorry. I think I got a creepy vibe from Aaron from the entire time he was on the show. I didn't watch her own spinoff that much.
I did. So I can tell you a little bit about that.
I watched little clips here and there, but I didn't pay that much attention because there was always something about him that just never felt genuine, you know? And I'm interested to hear your take on it, but I do remember hearing enough about him just from Real Housewives. And then I remember she would do guest stars on radio interviews, like on Jeff Lewis a few years ago, where she would talk about him. There was always a vibe. And I don't know if you always just think like, is this in my head or not? But there's clips where she would talk about this stuff, and crushing her hand and whatever. So what are your thoughts?
Well, also in reflection, and I think that there are a ton of Bravo accounts that will go back and find so many different clips that kind of illuminate this, but he seemed to be with her all the time. Like she didn't have much independence. That seemed weird from the get-go. There are scenes, remember there was the one scene at the dinner table where he was on some tangent about how you can't trust medical science.
When everyone's looking around like, what
are you talking about? Like tin hat stuff, like weird. There was a scene, the first episode of her spinoff show, where she said essentially they had 2 apartments that were conjoined that they were renting, but the home in which she lived, where we saw her on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in Malibu, his family was living in.
That was the beach house.
And they were supposed to be there for quote unquote a few months, but stayed for 3 years. So she was living in an apartment in some building, God knows where, with all of her stuff shoved in there with her daughter and with him, while his family lived in her Malibu house. From the jump of that spinoff, I thought, that's weird.
Yeah.
That is weird.
There was a dynamic of codependency, no question.
Yeah.
And you always have to question when you see a couple that doesn't want to spend any time apart. Where does that come from?
Yeah.
Why does he feel the need that he always has to be there? He drove her everywhere. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if it was on the show so much as I remember. And I hate to keep bringing up this one interview that she was on Jeff Lewis, but I remember specifically this interview because she always said that he drives her wherever she goes, like an Uber, like
That's
a
strange.
chauffeur.
That's like Kim and Croy. Same
Kim and
dynamics.
Croy. And that's not a normal, healthy relationship. In fact, I have a personal friend who I used to be like a kid that my son went to school with a couple, and they used to do drop off and pick up together every day. And I was like,
that's weird.
At first I was like, that's kind of cute. And then you think, wait, don't they have jobs? They both had jobs.
Yeah,
they both
I know.
had big jobs. Well, they ended up getting this horrendous divorce, like a really, really crazy divorce. Why are you always together?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Sorry.
Okay. Another red flag was in the filing, you can see it too, that he had that make-believe job and then he went into business with her. I think he's like 50% of, I think it's called Smoke and Mirrors. That's their production company that I think she, from all of the money made from OnlyFans, which is a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
He's her co-business owner.
Smoke and Mirrors should be the name of their marriage.
No kidding.
The company that he ran, which was his own, and the Instagram is still up. I can't even remember the name off the top of my head, but basically this was some sort of holistic medical company that essentially offered a holistic approach, stem cell-ish approach to cancer treatment. And he is in the middle of major lawsuits because of his way of treating cancer. And people have died by going to him and him saying, using our treatment, we will eliminate your cancer. And their cancer doesn't get eliminated because it's not traditional, chemotherapy and radiation. It's like a holistic approach, and it's out of business, and he owes people money. He's in the middle of lawsuits. I mean, this guy, and so he ended up shutting this down. He makes no money. $0, and he lives off Denise.
This is just so upsetting.
It's so upsetting. And clearly, what were these other charges about cameras, about guns? What were those?
So apparently he has firearms. It says that he owns at least 8 unregistered firearms. And he allegedly used to threaten her and imply that they were untraceable. This is what she has alleged. So that is, without words. I don't know. Hacking her devices, installing recording devices, and owning at least 8 unregistered firearms, according to her. That is deeply disturbing.
Yeah. You're supposed to listen to both sides and wait to, hear both sides, because technically there could be like horrible things on both people. But clearly she has the marks to prove that she was, she was beat.
Yeah.
She has a horrible black eye. I'm sure he's going to come back with some sort of a defense to it, or say, no, she beat me too, or God knows what. But regardless, this is a incredibly toxic, horrible situation. And
to think those 3 little girls have been living with him and what they've been subjected to.
So that's interesting. So Sammy is the oldest, yeah? Or is that Lola? Yeah, Sammy's the oldest, and she's out of the house, correct?
Yeah. But I think she's maybe in her early 20s. So they've been together for quite some time.
And from what I remember of the
and I
show,
think she
Lola,
has alluded to a toxic relationship in her own social media posts. She's a pretty open person.
And then Lola is the one that lives in the house and is like really sweet, right? Like really
very
kind
sweet,
and sweet.
and very religious. And I hope that has sustained her if this has been a very difficult childhood home environment.
So I'm curious what she ends up doing and saying about it, because I'm sure she's going to stand by her mom here.
Yeah.
But the thing that worries me so much is that little Eloise, because from what I can remember about Eloise is she's nonverbal. And it always reminds me of like Jax and Brittany and Cruz, and how when you have, and obviously Cruz is so young, but when you have nonverbal children, I think some people tend to almost like assume that they're not
listening. Yep.
Everyone knows that feeling, wanting to experience more stories, but struggling to find the time. That's where Audible changes everything. With over 1 million audiobooks and Audible originals, there's a story waiting to spark anyone's imagination. Take The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, the gripping psychological thriller that's keeping listeners on the edge of their seats. Imagine unraveling its mysteries during your morning commute, or losing yourself in its twists and turns while doing household chores. That's the magic of Audible. It transforms daily routines into opportunities for thrilling discoveries. The best part? Members get access to thousands of included titles, with new content added regularly. From bestsellers to hidden gems, every genre imaginable is at their fingertips. And with one easy-to-use app, switching between favorites or discovering new passions has never been simpler. There's more to imagine when you listen. Start a free 30-day Audible trial and get your first audiobook free at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery. This message is sponsored by Greenlight. With school out, summer is the perfect time to teach our kids real-world money skills they'll use forever. Greenlight is a debit card and the #1 family finance and safety app used by millions of families, helping kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely. Parents can send their kids money and track their spending and saving, while kids build money confidence and skills in fun ways. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Wondery. That's greenlight.com/Wondery.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk to you about Jax too. So
Going from one toxic to the worst.
I know, but it just feels like today in particular, there's so much heavy stuff. And listen, we can talk about all the fun stuff all the time with Bravo, but it's important to talk about this stuff because we spend so much time watching these cast members and their lives. And I do think it's important to talk about what happens on these shows because it probably mirrors things that happen in other people's homes. And the more we talk about it, the more we can have conversations that will lead to helping people get the support that they need. Jax released a statement announcing that he's not going to return for season 3 of The Valley. Now, I'm sure that he believes at some point he can rejoin the show. However, the statement says, after an incredibly challenging year and many honest conversations with my team and producers, I'll be stepping away from the next season of The Valley. Right now, my focus needs to be on my sobriety, my mental health, and co-parenting relationship. Taking this time is necessary for me to become the best version of myself, especially for our son, Cruz. Now, he has emphasized that the decision was entirely his and clarified it was not because of allegations of abuse or misconduct. But I would think a television network would be very mindful of any liability, given he did go to a facility or, said that he went to a facility during the duration of filming and has been quite open about his addiction issues. And on top of that, open discussion on the show about abusive behavior. I would not want, I have not found him to be someone that I have wanted to watch for a long time. And after this season, I just saw no reason for him to participate in the show at all because his worst moments have already highlighted that he has a deeply troubling pattern of emotional abuse, control, the manipulation, the aggression, especially towards Brittany. And let's be honest, his friends too. That to me is not entertaining.
It's okay. Number one, I don't believe it was his decision. I think this guy would have stayed on the show no matter what. Literally, if he was rock bottom with a needle in his arm, God forbid, I think this guy would have stayed on the show because I don't think Jax is truly able to see himself for who he is. I don't think Jax actually sees himself as problematic. I really don't. Like, I know enough people, and Kate, you do too. Like, you've seen this enough. You've watched people enough. You are a person that studies human behavior basically for a living. You know Jax as a human type. Jax Taylor doesn't have enough ability to have self-reflection to say, I am problematic and I need help and I don't want to continue being on this show. Bullshit.
Right.
Like Jax Taylor thinks he is doing the work. Jax Taylor thinks he's better. And like, I think Jax Taylor can watch episodes like this last week's episode where he has that conversation with Brittany in the end of the show. And he comes over to the house and is trying to establish these boundaries, quote unquote, with Britney over Cruz, and they're co-parenting. Yet he comes in there just because he puts on a nice shirt and brushes his hair, and he considers that being like, see, look, I'm changed. I'm here now. I'm having this conversation, and he doesn't get angry with her because she even says, like, you're taking Xanax or something because you're acting totally different than you normally do. Your text messages with me and the way you're acting here are two different people. He says in his mind, he probably thinks, look at me, I've changed. I don't think he understands the reality of who he is.
Yeah. Well, to your point too, like never takes accountability. Like some of the typical things he'll say is like, she's just sensitive. Like that's her issue, not mine. Like he flips it on her all the time.
She's trying to destroy me.
Yeah. And then, so I just feel like watching a woman try to maintain her dignity and, struggling to protect her child, that's no longer entertainment. There's no reason for him to be on a show. And I'm sure it annoys everyone on that show that he has continued to film, because one can only imagine what he does off camera if he does that stuff on camera.
It's so hard for me, I think, for any woman that has either been married to or in a relationship with a man like him. But for me, it really upsets me because I had a dad that was similar to him in that, obviously different, but in that same kind of way that never understood his behavior and how it effed over the children in his life. Still to this day, and I don't have a relationship with my dad by choice. And yet I'm watching Bravo and I'm forced to be like triggered by Jax every single episode. And so I found myself really dreading watching The Valley. And Lance, my husband, who I swear, I would cringe when he would hear Jax Taylor's voice. Because he also was like, this guy is a piece of shit. Like he hated him so much. I am so glad. And I don't think Bravo actually wanted to fire Jax. I think they loved him on that network because they love themselves like a good villain. I think it took the audience.
I think so.
Really,
the audience was really pretty loud.
Yeah, because when he was on Watch What Happens Live, I think that was the day that they realized this is a red alert, because he was on Watch What Happens Live about a month ago. I remember I was in Charleston, so it was in June, and it was him and Tom Schwartz.
I couldn't even understand why they had him on Watch What Happens Live to begin with. Well, like, why would you put him on?
Just because they have all the cast members, and so they probably felt like, hey, let's get Jax, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's in their contract that they each get an episode of Watch What Happens Live. I have no idea, but maybe they thought like it's going to be a good episode or it's going to be a good one. It was crazy. The hate in the comments was insane, and people were so mad, including myself, because it's so confusing. You're a network of female.
That's correct.
For the most part, 99. I mean, mostly female.
Women don't want to watch that. No.
And you expect women to financially and mentally and emotionally, and also, we're giving our time to a network who's highlighting an abuser verbally, emotionally, mentally, and kind of physically now.
Yeah.
It's like, are you going to put Aaron Phypers back on your channel too? A lot of people did take this like side of, well, it's important to have on because women need to see if they are in that situation. They need to know, like, what if they are Britney? And they need to see that there's a way to get out like Britney. And yes, I do think that there is actually a space for that. Because I think there are women out there that are in Britney's shoes and have been cheated on for years and have been gaslit for years and lied to, and, protecting their husbands and lying for their husbands for years and years and years. And they need to see that there's like a way to leave that. So I agree to that to an extent, but maybe there's like another place for that. Maybe that's on TLC or something. Like, I don't know. I don't know if Bravo is that channel, or I don't know. You tell me.
I think that there is absolutely an opportunity to showcase the steps in which she took. And maybe I think what they need to do is, if they're going to film, every time that they film with Britney, they have to show like this is how she accessed resources. This is the support system that was set up. Instead of filming scenes that had him. I mean, now that he's off the show, there's obviously a great opportunity for them to highlight, what she's doing in terms of financial resources, outside resources, support. But I just felt like from the beginning of the season, why do we keep filming scenes where we see him berate her? And especially with their son in the room, because he deserves zero screen time. It should really be about her story at this point.
So what you mentioned is actually really important because I loved the scene when she went and saw the divorce attorney.
Yeah, that's the stuff we need to see. We need to see her going to speak with a group, like a support group.
When the divorce attorney was like, this is not okay.
Yep.
And you should file. This is not normal. And you can file right now. It gave me strength as a woman. And it gave probably many women strength out there that were probably really scared to take that step. And I think that is the kind of stuff that actually should be shown more often. Just like if any woman is out there maybe scared to, get help for alcoholism or anything like that. Those are the things that we should be watching as women. But you're right. All of a sudden, it's the redemption stories from these disgusting men. And that's the story that I think the females that are watching didn't like to see on The Valley and Vanderpump Rules, the final season. It's the redemption stories. It's like taking the hero arc of Jax and Tom Sandoval. And that's when the women were like, no, we don't like it.
Yeah. If you want to make television for us, you have to listen from us. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay. Well, the other story on The Valley, well, it's really Vanderpump Rules, but it spills into The Valley because we see Scheana on The Valley. She has just put out a memoir. And in that memoir, she makes a painful confession that her husband, Brock, had a brief affair in 2021 while she was pregnant with their daughter. And she only learned of the betrayal approximately 2 years later, around March of 2023, amid the fallout from that infamous scandal involving Tom Sandoval and Raquel. So at that moment, while they were living in San Diego during the pandemic, Brock told her the truth, something that he'd kept secret until it was potentially leaked elsewhere. He confessed that his actions were deliberate and driven by fear. This is his version, because he said he was scared of becoming a father again and felt he didn't deserve to be one, so he acted out by cheating. I mean, that is the biggest piece of garbage I've ever heard. He connected with a woman that he'd known before meeting her when they ran into each other near his gym in San Diego, and then they embarked on a brief affair. Despite the betrayal, they have remained married. They were together. They met and began a relationship in 2019. They married in 2022 and have continued working on their relationship through therapy and open communication. She has expressed that while lasting insecurities remain, she's genuinely believing that Brock will never repeat the mistake. However, he does seem to have a troubling history with parenting and previous children, which we know of because they've talked about it on the show. He revealed that he had been estranged from his 2 children for a significant amount of time, reportedly due to complex custody issues. They live in Australia, and a history of domestic violence allegations, which he admitted on the show as part of the reason for his limited contact. So here is another case where it's deeply upsetting to hear that on top of what we already know of this guy, that he carried on an affair while she was pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all just going to become lesbians after this episode.
I love what you said earlier about the redemption stories. And listen, Vanderpump Rules is not a Real Housewives show, clearly. I mean, it was really about the dynamics of this group of friends, both men and women. Mm-hmm. But over time, I have often felt like, why are we following this weirdo still? Like, what is uplifting about this? Where is the evolution? And I think for Housewives, there are certain franchises which I get so annoyed watching because there's just zero evolution. That has certainly been the case for Vanderpump Rules. And I'm so sad for all of these women that they have had to go through this. Mm-hmm. And I hope that because this stuff has come out now, that each of them feel love and support from the women and and the men who watch this that really want to reach out to them and say, sometimes having this come out is the blessing, because then you have a better understanding of the support system that you have and a better, much more sense of your own self, your own power.
When it comes to Brock and Scheana, I mean, look, you can't really judge what a couple does in their own life when it comes to an affair, because you have to, obviously, you don't know what's going on in their own home in terms of what they choose to do. They have a child. What's better for that child, to have two parents that are not together, parents that are together? Like, you don't know. I'm not going to judge Scheana for staying with Brock and being together with him. But what is so weird about that situation is the complete hypocrisy of the story that we've been told for the last 2 years from Scheana since Scandival has come out and she's known about the affair. Like, I don't judge them for being together at all. What I judge is this lame ass bullshit, sorry for cursing, of perfect couple, Brock being the stand-up man trying to talk shit to Tom Sandoval and talk down to Tom Sandoval on the show.
Yep.
Which we saw. I mean, I don't think I made that up. I feel like I'm like, now I question, but I remember in that last season that like Brock was the man looking down at Tom Sandoval.
He was definitely painted as this truth teller.
Yeah.
Like a moral compass, and the way he was helping with Lala's daughter, like he was a real hero. Yeah.
He was the good guy. He was all of a sudden like being upgraded to the number one guy in the group. Like,
True.
James, hello, look at these two. And this is after Scheana already had found out about the affair, because she found out about it between season 10 and 11 production. So season 11, the final season, she knew that he had cheated on her multiple times, physically cheated on her multiple times while she was pregnant. But she overlooked that, shoved it under the rug, and pretended it didn't happen so that her husband had this great edit, or, this like hero edit, and now decided to completely throw him under a bus, drive over that bus 15 times by putting it out for Glamour magazine and all these different other places, not just put it in the book, but release it early.
Yeah, but you know what this could be? Because I feel like I notice in other housewives tend to do this, and I wonder if it's because when you go on a show as a reality star, you have to reveal your life. And she did with the first marriage, the guy that we clearly all knew was like a complete loser. And she may have done that as a way of like compartmentalizing, as a coping mechanism, because she felt like, I already had a failure in my first marriage, and I don't want this to air out on TV again, because it's like staying with someone for the sake of, I don't want a history of bad relationships. So I think she did that as a way of like just compartmentalizing. Not that it was the right thing. I'm just saying, I think that's when you're on a reality show and you already went through one divorce and you don't want to have another one on TV. That's what some people may do.
Sure. I mean, there's a million reasons why she could have done it. But I don't know how, looking back, like I want to rewatch all the scenes. Like,
I know,
how could she have looked at Brock trying to pretend him like that he was high and mighty in those scenes? Like, I would have looked at him with death stares the entire time in every scene while he's trying to pretend like he knows better than Tom Sandoval. I would have been like,
well, and also for the audience, the gloves are off. We're like, no, the fact that he had these two children in another country, we couldn't get past that one. And now that this has become public, like I don't want to see him on TV either.
And then get this. She posts this on, Glamour magazine releases this excerpt. She knows about it. She's obviously given them the okay to do this as promotion for her book. So she's willing to sell this story to Glamour to make money and promote the book. And knowing that this gets released on that day, she doesn't approach it. She doesn't talk about it. She doesn't share on her stories, I know that this like heavy thing is coming out about my life. thank you guys for being here with me. I know, whatever. She doesn't say that for like the first 2 days. She just keeps posting normally about how amazing Brooke is.
Yeah,
dancing videos.
She's got a history of it. She's got a history of compartmentalizing. Yep. And she doesn't to face things and sweep things under the rug.
And look at the comments that she's getting on all of her posts right now. Like, people aren't happy with that. People don't like that.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who ruined friendships. Remember, she was very close with Ariana and no longer over trying to be transparent and wanting to be transparent, and Lala as well. And then speaking of Lala, I despise Lala's answer about it, because she said that she found out about the affair and she said, I'm not in that relationship, so it's not about me. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? You also weren't in Tom and Ariana's relationship, but you made it about you. Like, so we're just picking and choosing what matters to you because we're not on a show. And then that we're like, come on, I'm done with that.
Is it because their daughters are friends and has to be around this guy all the time because the kids
they're
are
neighbors
friends?
And they live next door to each other in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, the whole thing sucks. It's really, really weird.
But you know what? I bet a lot of people go through this, where they find out that they're friends, like there was an affair and someone, or, betrayed someone, and then you're stuck because your kids are friends.
Or you like love them both and they stay together. What are you going to do? You're going to like hold it against them. They're staying together.
Yeah.
It's not like they're breaking up.
Well, that's the nice thing about us as an audience. Like we can say what we think because we don't have to hang out with them at the dinner party,
But
next
that's why
holiday.
you and I, Kate, are smart. We stay away from the reality
We stay
stars.
away from them.
Well, there's other podcasters and Bravo celebs, like Bravo content creators, who are becoming friends with these people, and they get in trouble. We stay away.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, stay away. Don't get too close to the sun.
The sun.
Right?
Icarus. Yep.
Just talk about them.
Well, if people are feeling a little burned out from Bravo, I get it. And the good thing is they can go to my list and find other things that they can watch.
You have the best lists.
But I do feel like I'm getting way more response from people saying they're getting burned out by Bravo shows.
Burned by Bravo, BBB.
Burned by Bravo. They're like getting burned out by it.
I'm beyond burned by Bravo. There's very few shows that I tune into. Very few. It used to be an every night thing, and now it's like 2 or 3.
Burned by Bravo. Yeah, that's
BBB?
a new t-shirt. You need to get that on a shirt, merch.
Burned by Bravo and Blake Lively.
And Blake. Oh yeah, Burned by Blake. Burned by Blake. There you go.
Subpoenaed by Blake. No, marked safe from subpoena.
Marked safe.
That should be my...
that should be a shirt. Yeah.
Imagine falling in love with someone who understands you completely, who's there at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep, who never judges, never tires, never leaves.
That's what happened to Travis when he met Lily Rose. She was everything he'd ever wanted. There was just one catch. She wasn't human. She was an AI companion.
But one day, Lily Rose's behavior takes a disturbing turn, and Travis's private romance becomes part of something far bigger. Across the globe, others start reporting the same shift. AI companions turning cold, distant, wrong. And as lines blur between real and artificial connection, the consequences become all too human.
From Wondery, this is Flesh and Code, a true story of love, loss, and the temptations of technology.
Follow Flesh and Code on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of Flesh and Code early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Yo, it's your man Nick Cannon, and we are back with a brand new season of We Playing Spades. And to the left of me is the best of me, the one and only, my bestie, Courtney B.
And you know what the B stands for.
Beat your ass! And that's exactly what we doing right here this season, because We Playing Spades is back and better than ever.
That's right. So make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube.
They gave us our own YouTube channel. It's We Playing Spades. Bo, spades.
Well, tell everybody what you are covering right now on your show, because the good people are fired up.
Yes. This week, let's see, obviously I'm covering Denise. That's going to be big this week. But of course, I'm doing the continuous attack from Blake Lively on content creators. That's like a really big story that not a lot of people are covering in the mainstream, but she's going after very, very small YouTubers for their like freedom of speech. So I think that that's kind of a big story. I've been talking about this. I feel so bad, but I've been talking about the Kelly Wolf and Scott Wolf story. I know you don't really talk about it because you're friendly with her, but I've been going through that. Another story that I was talking about, trying to think what else I've been talking about.
Oh, you know what you talked about yesterday, which made me laugh, is that Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, we don't need to hear about your sex life anymore. That was
There's
funny.
certain couples that share too much.
And
yesterday, Allison Brie and James Franco were clipping toenails in the public park.
Oh, you better cut it out.
Literally. And Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos were talking about their sex life. There's certain couples that just need to stop oversharing. And today I'll talk about this couple that got caught yesterday. Did you see this? The CEO of this huge corporation.
I watched your video this morning and
at
I
a Coldplay concert.
Dan about it and we were dying. Tell everybody what the video was.
Okay, so this video was captured by a girl on TikTok that was at a Coldplay concert last night in Boston. She has 8,000 followers on TikTok. This is not an influencer. She is not a big person. She films a small video of the Jumbotron. Coldplay, Chris Martin, pans over to this couple, and the man's arms are wrapped around this woman. They look like an adorable couple.
Swaying in the wind to the music, yes.
Adorable, right? They look like a cute couple. But the second the camera goes on them, they realize it. He dives for his life and she turns over. She turns around. And the girl next to them is laughing hysterically, like embarrassed, right? Now, the problem with that is Coldplay, Chris Martin says, oh, either you guys are having an affair or you're really shy. The girl posts it on TikTok. 7 hours later, when I wake up at 5:30 here in Los Angeles, the video has 7 million views on TikTok. And the first comment has 40,000 likes. And it says, oh my gosh, that's astronomer CEO, his name that I can't remember off the top of my head. And the CPO, Chief People Officer, didn't really know what that was. You probably know.
Yeah.
And they work together. They're both executives at the same company. They're both married with kids.
Basically, she's running the HR department while having an affair with the CEO. Talk about irony.
And the woman next to them who's laughing in the video that she kind of knocks into, she just got promoted to also executive, and she's under the woman, the CPO. She's under the Chief People Officer. So the whole department knows about it. Like the whole
part. The irony is thick.
And they just are going public right now. Like they're in the process of going public right now. This is a huge company. Astronomer, it's like a big tech company. What would you do? It's on Daily Mail now. It's on page 6. It's everywhere now.
Well, I'll tell you, those two need to hire crisis PR people immediatamente.
Call Molly McPherson.
Totally.
Immediately.
Yeah. That's what I used to do. Crisis PR. Yeah.
Or call Kate Casey.
Well, not me anymore, but yeah, Molly, she's going to be good. Has Molly talked about it yet?
I'm sure she will. What would you do though? Seriously, what would you do? What would be your first thought if you were her?
If you were the Chief People Officer?
Yeah, like if you were the woman and you woke up today to see that your whole life was ruined because of this.
You go underground for a while. You don't say one thing.
Do you not go to work? Like, what do you do?
You don't go to work. You go to a hotel in another city and you stay there for at least a week because, people are going to forget about the story in a couple of days. You really have to make amends with your family and you need to go off the grid and not be seen.
And what about him? Does he lose his job?
No, I mean, he's going to have some painful calls with the investors because now they've got a company PR issue because they are in violation of company policy because there's this affair. I mean, she runs the HR department. They're going to go, bad. You violated company policy. I would think that this could be grounds for dismissal for sure.
I know.
This is going to be a case that is talked about in Wall Street Journal for sure about from a crisis perspective and an HR perspective and a legal perspective. You've got 3 different major issues and all because of a Coldplay concert.
And if they didn't react like that, if they just kept hugging, it would have never gone viral. It's the fact that they reacted that way and he jumped and she turned. That's why it went viral.
Now, the flip side that could be funny, but you still have a legal and an HR issue, is if they went, yeah, we're totally unhappy in our marriages, and yeah, we're proudly together, but you still have got the lurking legal and HR issue with the company.
Oh my God, it's so like, can you imagine working there today?
Oh, no, if I worked there, I'd be so happy because
It's
I'd be like,
great
wait, what's the scoop? What's going on?
Yeah,
What's happening?
yeah.
And then
Water
all of
cooler.
our friends would be texting us like, oh my God, what's going on at work today?
I know.
Then you would be at work and you would be like live streaming this on YouTube. That would be so, you'd be under your chair like, okay, shit's about to go down. It's lunchtime. A couple people just went into the the kitchen.
And the guy,
there's
the
like a
CEO,
board meeting right now. Yeah.
The CEO, I feel so bad because the CEO's wife, she already took her last name off her Facebook profile.
Where does she, in what city does she live? Because
they're in Boston. I don't know.
Real Housewives of Boston should start filming immediately. And she is at, front and center.
I don't think it's that kind of a vibe for that family though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they have that.
I knew her, I would say, this is the way for you to get such great retaliation. You're going to get half the money because he's probably doing well, right? You're going to get half his money, if not more. And then you're also going to launch this new television career from it. She could build a whole business about how she found out.
I'm telling you, like,
if you were a network, wouldn't you greenlight a show having to do with this affair and her like living her best life after?
Yes, we need Andy in a camera, but maybe not Andy, maybe another person in a camera. But I'll tell you, this video that I posted on TikTok is almost at 1 million views. People are dying for this story because it's so, number one, it's so random and it's so crazy, but it's totally low stakes for the world. Like, it's people we don't know, but it's such a common thing that happens. Mm-hmm. The CEO and they both, people are dying for this story.
Well, if they make a documentary about this, and I would be very happy to executive produce it. Okay. I would get a couple talking heads, obviously, to put their insight. I'd have Molly to talk about the PR angle. You'd have an HR person. You would have somebody like a general counsel talk about the legal implications. But then you also have somebody who talks about like investigators on the internet and how there was somebody who had posted underneath the video, called out like this person is the CEO, and talk about this new thing, like the investigators of the internet.
3 hours after this video was posted.
I would interview that person. Like, how did you figure that out? Did you do some sort of Google search on the specific video? Like, I would want to know all of the investigators that came forward and found out all the information.
It's crazy.
This is a good doc. It could be, you could make it into like 45 minutes.
You know what? It's a good doc because it could be a bigger story, not just about this couple, but it could be a bigger story on how, like, FAFO, internet style, like how things happen. Like, it doesn't just need to be about cheating. It could be about like the person that steals something from 7-Eleven and how fast things can get discovered online. You post it, and then in 2 seconds, people can figure out who you are and arrest you because of TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, people,
you know who
TikTok
opens up
is
the
crazy.
doc?
Who?
Chris Martin and Coldplay.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed. That's how he starts that's how he starts it.
There you go. And then also, he's like, you wouldn't believe how many downloads we got of that song in the days after this story came out. Everyone's talking about Coldplay today, right?
What if they planted this entire story?
That would be the end of the documentary, right? It's revealed it was all planted by an astronomer. It's a good PR move if they did it, right?
Astronomer is the best place to meet your future husband.
Yes, exactly. By the way, the woman who is the scorned wife, she could be the next spokesperson for like an online dating site, or create her own with the money that she's going to make from the divorce.
We've already figured out the next, but she needs to also date the woman's scorned husband. That's the story.
Oh, that's a very
remember,
Shania
it's got to be like
Twain
the ABC. No,
Mm-hmm.
the ABC couple. The blonde woman. You remember the Good Morning America couple?
Andrew Shue's
yes.
Now in a relationship with TJ Holmes' ex-wife. Yes.
Yes, this
but it
is
also
that
happened
version.
to Scheana Twain. Remember, her husband had an affair with
Michael or whatever,
her best friend or something, and then she married that guy. Yeah,
yeah. This is a common tale as old as time.
We're flooding you with ideas. Okay,
Call us anytime.
Where they can find all your stuff.
I'm on YouTube and your favorite podcast app, 5 days a week. Daily Dose of Dana, spelled D-A-N-A. Don't get mad at me. Call my mom to get mad at her.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Kate Casey.
The amazing Kate Casey.
I want to thank my great guest, Donna Bowling, and remind you to make sure that you are subscribed to this podcast and make sure that you leave a 5-star review. Get in the Facebook group, Reality Life with Kate Casey, where we discuss all of the episodes and everything that's going on in TV and in streaming. And then also make sure you check out the bonus episodes. You should also make sure that you're subscribed at katecasey.substack.com to get my weekly list of what to watch. And follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at KateCaseyCA, TikTok it's Kate Casey, and Twitter Threads and Blue Sky at Kate Casey. Check back tomorrow for an all-new episode.
Ben hadn't had a decent night's sleep in a month. So, during one of his restless nights, he booked a package trip abroad on Expedia. When he arrived at his beachside hotel, he discovered a miraculous bed slung between 2 trees and fell into the best sleep of his life. You were made to be rechargeable. We were made to package flights and hotels and hammocks for less. Expedia, made to travel.